Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Natasha, and it's fantastic to have you here. For today's video, we have back to the channel, Miss Ellen. Yay. So say hello, Miss Ellen.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here again. So sweet to see all of you.
So we have been enjoying having discussions and having talks about all of the things that are related to divination, spirit guides, etc. We did a video about connecting with spirit guides previously. So we're going to kind of continue this conversation and how spirit guides can actually help with dreams, and then a dream discussion. I don't really see a lot of tarot readers or tarot enthusiasts talk in depth about dreams and how that could potentially be another way of divination for you, or messages from loved ones, spirit guides, etc. So we're going to kind of have a chat about it, and then we're going to go into some really popular themes that people dream about and pull some oracle cards and tarot cards about that. And then we're going to kind of have a discussion about analyzing our own dreams, and if the other has similar insight as the one having the dream. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Ellen. I'm going to have her introduce herself again for those who have not seen the other video that we did together, and then we're going to get into it. So take it away, Ellen.
Hi, everyone. I am Ellen of Ellen's Entanglement Theory here on YouTube, just starting out here on YouTube. And I'm really excited because I work at professional type fairs, like holistic fairs, and I really do intend to highlight the innate potential of everyone that I meet to really inspire us to engage with our spiritual gifts and become more enlightened and more peaceful and prosperous beings. And I would really like to share that with dreams, the way that we interpret our nighttime explorations, or daytime if we're taking a nap, we could have a dream, we could have some kind of a vision that launches us into a realization of connective threads of symbols and signs and synchronicities and things that just don't add up at first, but then maybe if we reflect and then we're saying, whoa, that is actually a really prominent theme throughout all of my dreams. For example, you may have a dream about being reborn, dying of some kind. You may have a dream about flying. I know I've had a lot of dreams about flying, and I love that I can take that stance as I observe a dream and say, if this were my dream, I would imagine that it would mean this when I'm analyzing someone else's dream. And then when I experience my own dream, I can say, well, like, this really prominent theme of wanting to ascend above a troubling situation, that's really key. Or maybe I'm lost in a lot of my dreams, or maybe I feel like I'm trapped, or I'm naked, whatever it is. I'm losing my teeth, whatever dreams occur to you and happen to you are a direct reflection of what's going on in the unconscious mind as it plays a loop in your subconscious mind. Now, for me, the distinction between the unconscious and the subconscious is unconscious is just kind of like the ocean, the waters, the depths. And then the subconscious is like that part of the iceberg that's underneath the surface of the ocean. And then the conscious mind is the top, or the iceberg that you see above the surface. And where the way that is all interplaying in your dreams, that is a vital tool to look at, to really say, hey, maybe I'm afraid to start this new position in my career, and I keep dreaming that I'm forgetting my homework at school. Maybe you're scared that you're not prepared enough. But the beautiful thing with dreams is that you can ask for clarity. One time I had a dream that I calculated my dad's life path number. In my head, I added up all the digits in his birthday, and I remembered the number from the dream, and I woke up and I calculated his month, day, and full year, and it was the right number that I calculated in my head
That's
during the
awesome.
dream.
That's awesome.
And I was like, wow. And at the time I was at kind of at odds with him. And in the dream, um, he'd had me abducted, and taken away from my home. And so do you see how the symbolism between my dad and me maybe having an issue with trust or something like that can translate into a symbol of the dream?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest takeaway from this video is that dreams are big metaphors.
Yeah.
And just because, so say you dream about an abduction, I can we say that on YouTube? I don't know, but we're doing it. Say you dream of that, it doesn't mean like it's predicting your abduction. It is a huge over dramatized metaphor for what you're dealing with in your quote unquote waking life and the emotions that you feel around it. So I think a lot of people get scared when they have somewhat scary dreams or dreams that make them feel self-conscious, or they feel like a quote unquote negative feeling. But the emotions are a huge part in how you interpret your dream too, and the metaphor that goes along with it. So you putting two and two together with that is absolutely the correct way of kind of analyzing it. It's not to be afraid of what happened in the dream or what it predicts, because it's not necessarily saying that that's going to happen or your father's out to get you. It's how you felt about what's going on in your waking life, and your mind is kind of helping you make sense of it subconsciously and unconsciously, if that makes sense. Yeah,
It
anyway.
does.
But yeah,
Because
that's awesome.
so much of the body is a map of the lower levels of consciousness. So like I could have an ache or a pain in my body. For example, a friend of mine with whom I did a Dream Journeys workshop, she kept having this feeling of tightness around her during her sleeping time. And then she had a dream that reminded her, she had this memory of in waking life of her older sister binding her down with blankets and pushing on her back with her foot, when her sister was being abusive. And so that it was amazing how that the dream was felt in her body and then reminded her of something that actually did happen in waking life. And in the dream, thankfully, she was able to ask for a spirit guide animal, an animal spirit. And on this occasion, it was a bear. And the mama bear guided her to a safe place in her dream.
To add on top of that, it's got to be healing in a way to have that dream kind of play out in a way that where she ends up being safe and guided toward safety. And so in the waking life, you can look at the correlation between what happened in the dream and what happened in her past, and kind of have that moment of, okay, well, I'm safe now, and kind of resolve those issues in a way. And isn't it so, I know tangent, but isn't it crazy how our brains really react to the whole process, where it's like you go back in time essentially in your unconscious to heal those parts of you that you forgot about, but that were holding the trauma in your body somehow. And playing upon your example of, the body knowing there's something going on or there's an affliction, your dream can actually help you assess those situations. If you're having the tightness, where is it coming from? Why do I feel tightness in my dream? Okay, well, maybe I need to go get my heart checked out because like it's beating too fast. Or you can correlate what you're feeling in the dream to something health wise as well, not to freak anybody out, but obviously if you're feeling something wrong in your body and you wake up and you notice those feelings still, call your doctor, go seek medical help, because sometimes the body will try to get you to pay attention to it in any way, shape, or form it can. And a lot of the times when we're dreaming, that's what happens. The body kind of filters out what happened during the day, filters out the memories, the chaos, the thought processes, all of that gets filtered through the synapses and all the crazy what is it called, anatomy things that go on. So it's a way of your body to process what has happened, and kind of like a computer, put it in files and kind of file it away, right? Is that what you experience
Yes,
as well?
yes. So the way that our dreams are integrated into the body, it feels like, okay, so it's been studied that like the subconscious mind takes up like, or is comprised of 95 approximately percent of our daily thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So only like 5 to 10% are conscious thoughts. And then the unconscious, that's where like the memory of, like, you know, like how in Frozen 2, spoiler alert, Elsa sees like memory encapsulated within water, and that, and her abilities freeze water in time. Well, we are made up of so much water as organisms and beings and mammals and humans and all of that, that like if we have it, like my mom, she often will have a dream that she's still in love with the man who was her soulmate, and or she'll have a dream that she's still drinking, and I'm like, Mom, like, you gotta forgive yourself, right? Because then she's actually had a history with skin cancer, so then and you know, and she hasn't really experienced a lot of, you know, touchy-feely connection in a long time. And I'm like, well, Mom, like, maybe your dreams, and this is an example for anyone, maybe our dreams are pointing us into a way to understand our emotions better, because emotion is energy in motion. And
100%.
and when you're flying, that's a bodily kind of experience, right? In the dream, even like with lucid dreaming, when you're aware that you're dreaming and you're able to navigate and control your reality. In the dream, or when you're astral traveling, when you're going to like all these different higher dimensional planes. I was told one time that the visions that I had in my dreams of visiting a community of like-minded people, and people say with like a mental health diagnosis like me, that I was actually traveling to the planet Venus. And when I would wake up, I would feel a lightness in me because I had just been traveling, my spirit had been traveling the stars. And
That's
that can
actually quite
sound,
common.
yeah. And
That's
I
awesome.
wonder why is it common, right? Well, I think it's because ultimately we all want a sense of mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual, physical levity,
Mm-hmm.
liberation, so that whenever we have a dream that reminds us of like some kind of a past wound, or on the flip side uplifts us, we can actually navigate that more readily and look at what the true message behind it is, what that dream or what that recurring set of dreams can signify for us in our waking life. And to journal about this, you know, Natasha and I, we talked about this before, where we were saying that if we could like wake ourselves up somehow and like use a voice recorder
That was
to record it.
genius.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have like literally, I never even thought about this because that's my one thing that keeps me from forgetting or journaling. Like I can't, I need to and I want to, but I always like think about the dream and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to remember and I'm going to write it down in the dream journal. And then, you know, the day starts happening and then I forget. But she, Ellen, is a genius and is like, yeah, I just voice record it. I'm like, what? You can, oh my God, how did I not ever think about this? Voice record it. Yeah. So genius. So yeah, the little things like that that you don't really think about your day to day. She's like, just voice record it, Natasha.
And you
So
know what, you
bravo.
thank you. And you listen to those back and you're like, I sounded so groggy. But like it's 3 a.m., right? It's
Right?
3:33. Yeah. So
I just had to go pee. I'm like, oh, okay, I dreamt about a bear. That's literally what I would sound like. I don't know what I'm saying, but this is what I dreamt about.
I love that, because then you can go back and sometimes you'll have dreams that are significant to the day. Like,
Yeah.
say it's a full moon and it's in your sun sign or whatever, and you're like, oh, I really want to ask my spirit team for a dream about how to navigate the situation with my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my job, my health, my vitality, all that. And then like you can seriously just ask for a dream to heal any situation, and you'll be surprised at how quickly and how thoroughly your spirit team will respond with a dream when you totally surrender to their guidance.
Right. I think it's important if you want their guidance, like don't ask during the day. Like you're gonna, I mean, you can, but like it's important to kind of get the intention before you go to sleep. So as you lay down on your pillow, you're getting ready, you're in that kind of what is it, the liminal space where you're not fully awake, but you're awake enough to be conscious about what you're thinking.
It's called the hypnagogic state.
See, folks, this is why we have discussions. So you reach out to your spirit team and ask them for either a healing, to heal in your dream, for, to guide you. And another good one is, say you don't even need guidance or healing or anything like that, and you just want to remember your dream. You can ask your spirit team to help you remember your dream right then and there, your intention before you go to sleep. Also, if you are wanting to continue, so say you woke up to pee and you were having a really awesome dream and you're trying to remember it, you can then, as you're going back to sleep, ask your spirit team to come in and be like, okay, I want to continue that dream. Let's continue the dream. So there's
And
lots
it
of
helps
ways.
when you sleep in the same position that you were in when you woke up.
Yes. So yeah, if you were on your side, go back to sleep on that same side. I'm always a side sleeper. It's bad. But yeah, I think there's a lot of ways that you can utilize your dreams. Or the other thing that's really cool, it might sound a little woo-woo, but having loved ones that have passed over visit you in your dreams. I 100% will stand by my feelings and my thoughts on this. I think that they come and they help you, like they can help you heal the grief and help through the grieving process. Sometimes they'll come in like right after they pass. Sometimes it'll be years, and they'll come in and help you, just peeking on you, say hi. It feels really real. It feels like, I've had dreams where loved ones have come in to my dream and we're literally having a normal day. Like there's nothing special about my dream. We're just doing our day-to-day business, having just conversations, and then they're there like they've always been there. It's like a normal day, and it's just, a conversational dream. And then I wake up and I'm like feeling light, I'm feeling happy, and I'm like, oh, I just got, I got visited. Like they're checking in, everything's okay, like we're all good, they're doing well, they're happy, they're feeling good, they're, in the dream they're telling me like everything's fine, like I'm feeling good, like we're all right. And so I 100% think that they come in because I don't dream about them in any other sense. Like it's never like a consistent thing where they're in my dreams. But I feel like they're visiting, like you inherently know when you're dreaming that they're visiting you, they're checking up on you. There's a different kind of feel and an emotion around that. It's not like you were dreaming about a memory. Like it's a different type of feel. I don't know if you've experienced that.
To a degree. So like one of my spirit guides is actually my future son. And so I actually asked him one time to choose a card in the tarot deck I was using at the time. And actually, I think it was my phone app, one of my decks on my phone. And when I hit the draw a card button, it was the Hanged Man. And that's his card. So he's with me in my dream state too. When I've gone and visited other places in the astral realm, it feels like my guides are all around me, kind of like coming together to illuminate different aspects of my life and help me guide myself and be guided toward my divine purpose.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I feel like no matter what, whether you believe in the spirit guide, rhetoric, I'll call it, if you believe in that or not, like you have a team and they're there. So like there are a lot of people that don't believe in I'm just going to say the esoteric kind of stuff, the metaphysical stuff, but they want to try it out. Like, oh, if it's so real, or, if it's this thing, like, let me try it and see. And so they'll try the astral projecting and the lucid dreaming, and they're like, oh yeah, this is a thing. Okay, why do I feel like I'm being guided in a way? And it's like, well, because but with a lot of different I've read a lot of different accounts about astral projecting and lucid dreaming, and they all are very, very similar. They all feel like whether they're doctorates that have done it, the psychologists that have done it, or I'm just going to say the average person, or people who are on this kind of the pagan path, you name it, fill in the blank what you want to call it. They all kind of have a similar experience where they all feel like they leave their body and they go and they explore all these different places. Sometimes there's like a red cord that they're following, that they're tethered to. Sometimes it's a silver cord. But at the same time, once they're like, oh, I need to get back, they feel like they jump back into their body. I don't think I've ever experienced, I don't know if I would say it's been astral projected that I've done it, although I feel like I have, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if it was officially that, or it was just a really cool, crazy, vivid dream. I haven't really tried to do it specifically. But I know I've had really crazy lucid dream experiences. And then I've also had, and we were talking about it a little bit, the experience where I know that I'm dreaming. However, I'm also seeing the dream through the perspective of another person. Like, I am them. However, I know that I'm not in the dream. So it's very bizarre. And you were saying that it seems like that would be kind of like remote viewing in a way. And it's not something that I experience constantly or regularly. It's just every now and then I'll have this crazy dream where it feels super real, and it feels like it's not me. I know it's not me, but I'm having the perspective of somebody else. So I need to be more able to recall those dreams when they happen, because this is crazy. It's very bizarre. And sometimes it can be very intimidating and scary, like kind of like you can't wake up in a way. Like, you're like, okay, this is weird, like what's going on? But yeah, so going back to, we could talk about like astral projecting and lucid dreaming in another video, not to make this all drawn out, but it's all kind of connected. And science still hasn't figured out what exactly consciousness is. We kind of figure out that that's kind of what sets us apart, the fact that we can learn and adapt, and we have these similar experiences as humans, but we can't really figure it out in other animals. We don't know, we can't recreate it. We can't figure out where it started, where it began. But we all have these similar experiences. So basically nobody knows why we dream, like specifically, but that it is a important part of the human existence in order to kind of reboot for the next day. So it's your rest, it's your body kind of filtering out what it experienced during the day. But at the same time, it's also can also provide you information for your waking life, the things that maybe your subconscious has pushed back. So if you have not done a lot of shadow work, you could be experiencing a lot of scary nightmares, things that are terrifying to you, but that doesn't represent specific symbols in the dream. So basically, if you're dreaming about, scary, animal that's chasing you and then, wanting to attack you, it could be that like there's something that you haven't done in your waking life that is like kind of like a monkey on your back. Like you need to face it. You need to face your fears. You need to figure out, why this is continually chasing you. Same thing with dreams that you have repeatedly. Like there's the same dream over and over that you have. That could be an indication that you need to look at the themes of this dream in your waking life and figure out why you are continually having this. Because again, it's a way for your body to be like, you need to focus on this. You need to face this. I know I've had a few of those, but we are going to transition. Thank you. We're going to transition into the themes because as a collective, we all have very similar themes that we experience in the dream world. So, for instance, we talked about them a little bit earlier with Ellen, like the teeth falling out, intimacy dreams, the sex dreams, those are very common. I'll let you, I've been talking a lot. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about some of the big themes that we experience.
So, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, and remember that you can always have a journal. That's so important to have a dream journal. So not just the voice recording, but like actually, you can type, that's cool, but there's something special that's triggered in your consciousness when you physically like take a pen or pencil and write down your reflections on what happened in your dreams. But so according to Keen.com, the top 5 most common dreams are flying, losing your teeth, standing naked, being lost, and chased by the shadow.
Oh, the shadow. Yeah. So that could basically be anything, it could be any form of fear or unfinished business. Yeah. So flying. I also have a couple more. The falling. Did we say falling?
Go ahead. No, we haven't.
Continuing with your top ones, we have the falling. We also have death. That is a big one. So any kind of, whether you're dying or there's death around you in the dream. Water is a big one. I know I dream about water a lot. Then finding money is another one, or finding valuable items. And then like homes or houses, like any kind of state. So a lot of dilapidated homes, or it could be a haunted house. Or it could be like a mansion that you've been dreaming of living in your whole life. And the last one that I have that is not on your list is like going on a journey or traveling, like having like a dream where you're consistently moving forward and you're experiencing all of these fun adventures. So a lot of really common themes. And wouldn't you agree that a lot of this seems very metaphorically tied to the themes in tarot?
Yes, absolutely.
Like if we're going to talk about divination with this, like you can so first and foremost, when we're deciphering our dreams, I feel like it's very important to remember that just as with we're reading in tarot or oracle decks, it's very important to remember that whatever you feel it means is top priority. So however you intuitively feel the dream means is the same as whatever you're feeling in your readings as well. So say for your example with the bear, with your friend's dream, that if I had the same symbol in my dream, a bear, it might mean something completely different to me because I've had a different experience in my life. I didn't have that experience. Do you see what I mean? So like, just because we have we dream of, losing teeth, it could mean something completely different to somebody else. However, the structure kind of means the same thing. Same with tarot. So like tarot has a specific structure that we follow, but at the same time, within that structure, there's a lot of different symbolism that we can interpret differently with the whole overarching theme of what is being read. Hopefully that's making sense. Does that make sense to you?
Make sense. Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, do we want to take your top 5 and pull some cards to kind of see if you guys are wanting to pull cards for your dreams to help you interpret what it means? This would be an example of one way to do it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Totally makes sense, Natasha. So I invite us to just a little invocation for this. Thank you, Spirit, for cleansing and blessing these decks and infusing them with love and light intelligence. May the messages that come through be filled with clarity and wisdom for our highest and best good. And so it is. Okay, so you want to start with being chased by the shadow?
Absolutely. I have a card. So I do have on my end, I'll just show you guys what I'm going to be pulling from. Ellen's going to pull from tarot, and I'm going to pull from the dream reading cards here. This is by Rose and Sarah. And so this deck has an oracle section, and it has the specific dreams, the symbols that you would see. So I just pulled the being chased card. So this one says, so what are you running away from? What is making you feel overwhelmed? And then what are you afraid of or unwilling to face? So we were talking about that kind of earlier with being chased. So Ellen, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so these 2 cards came out. So the World card.
Oh.
So maybe there's some kind of divine destiny that's pursuing you, that when you're being chased, you're being called to end a cycle. So if you're having a dream that you're being called and running away from something, that could mean that your purpose is calling you forward, and that there's some kind of fundamental truth about some kind of ending that needs to happen with this World card. Because when you partner with your higher self with this 2 of Wands, you're actually acknowledging that what you're running away from is an inevitable truth. So for example, when I've been chased, I haven't had many of those dreams, but I remember that what I was being chased by represented a part of my journey I did not want to acknowledge. Okay.
That makes 100% sense.
So with the 2 of Wands being about expansion and creativity and partnering with your higher self to achieve a goal, it makes sense that at the bottom of the deck is Temperance. And I like to say that the bottom of the deck is like the underlying energy. And with Temperance, you would expect the chasing scene to be filled with like 10 of Swords or like 8 of Cups. So those were like betrayal and leave taking, respectively. But there's some kind of moderation that needs to be achieved in your life. That you could be running, because when I've had these dreams myself, I was running away from a stark reality that wanted to be balanced and integrated into my life. So with that Temperance card being the underlying energy, it makes sense, because when you have the alchemical balance of mind and heart, you're less likely to dream about something that you're afraid of.
Right.
So to be called into being more accountable to your highest good and more in alignment with your core values. A lot of times when you're being chased by a shadow, that shadow is inviting you in for deep healing.
Right.
This is that deep healing that's happening here.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I love that so much. It's perfection, because it's true. It's like you can even think like, so a shadowy figure, shadow of any kind, that's a literal representation of you needing to face what you have not been facing. And once you integrate that in, that's where that Temperance card comes in, that integration of putting that healing process together. Acknowledging your shadow is a huge, huge step in healing. Easier said than done, for sure. But the point being is, there's, with that reading in and of itself, you're seeing that in order to end the cycle of, you know, feeling those feelings and feeling hurt or sad or scared or whatever, you need to integrate the shadow, accept what has happened in order to complete that and then start again. I think that's beautiful. And then again, with the Two of Wands, again, more integration and more working together.
You and your shadow.
Yeah, that is beautiful. And so the oracle cards that I pulled, so the first one we got is transformation.
Nice.
So it says, commit to acting on new ideas and longings, take a leap of faith and begin again. So taking a leap of faith and trusting yourself that this dream isn't there to scare you. It's there to kind of shock you into accepting what you haven't accepted, or to face what you haven't faced, in order for you to transform into that healing part of you, or to transform into a new way of being. And then the other card that I got is the focus, which is, again, interesting, because this is, you know, turning your focus toward what you haven't put the focus on for so long. So for enlightenment, stay in the moment, chop wood, carry water, avoid distraction, meditate, bring unresolved issues into view. Love that. So this is an example of how you can take your dreams, if you're unsure about the symbolism, or if it's reoccurring like this, what does it mean? Because you can only go so far with like dreamdictionary.com or dream books. Like I have a dream book here that I've had for years, and it has, you know, a bunch of different symbols, you know, spaghetti, lemon, you know, these different symbols in a dream, what it could potentially mean. But at the end of the day, it only matters what it makes you feel in your dream, how you interpret it. It's kind of, this is like your jumping off point. This is your springboard. And then you can then interpret, okay, alongside my emotions, alongside, you know, the theme of the dream, all of the things that happen during the day, how does it mean for me? What does it mean? XYZ. So do we want to do another one?
Yeah, for my list or your list?
Okay, let's do the flying and the falling, because that's been
How
on
about one card for flying and one card for falling?
perfect. Yeah, because I feel like you had flying, I had falling, so that works.
Oh, interesting. These are very complimentary cards. So
really?
For the flying, I got the Prince of Wands.
Oh, I really like that.
And there's that lion with the unicorn, kind of looks like a Pegasus, but I don't see any wings. And then for the falling, the Ace of Wands.
Oh, that is really interesting.
So the way that this is painting itself for me is that, like, with the, you know, in this deck, this is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland. There's like prince and princesses as well as knights, and with this Prince of Wands, it feels like bold, you know, predetermined action that is very fiery and filled with ascension, whereas this falling, this reminds me of the surrendering. That falling can be synonymous with needing to surrender, right? Needing to let go of absolute control, because this new start with this divine spark Ace of Wands is on the way. That when you're falling, you're kind of giving yourself over to the wings of the divine.
That's true.
To be able to have this seed of, because all the aces and suits are seeds, right? They have the innate potential. I mean, especially with these being the same suit, the same fiery suit, about action and manifestation and alignment with your higher purpose, with a mission that gets you up in the morning. And then if you're having a dream about falling, I've actually had dreams of falling where I was in a Jeep with my parents and my sister. This was many, many years ago, and I was probably a teenager. And we fell into the water off of the highway that split in two. And then when I found myself in the water, I died, but I was reborn as a ghost, and I visited my childhood home and actually was able to, begin again with this pulsing energy of the wand. And how we just got the two of wands for the other question about the other dream. So I think that's really interesting that we're getting really pretty positive cards. We haven't gotten any Five of Cups,
Oh
disappointment,
yeah.
and that's true, because I feel like our energy together, Natasha, is actually cultivating a deep sense of wisdom about dreams that can actually be informative
Yeah.
for our highest good, to look at these dreams as ways that our higher self is communicating with us in archetypes and images that resonate with us on a deep soul level.
Right. And on that topic, I would invite all of you watching, the next nightmare that you have, really sit with it, and really look at all of the things that scared you, the symbols. What was it that made you feel that way? And then if you are doing divination, sit with your cards and pull, because what is tarot if not an internal look at your emotions and your thoughts and what you're going through? So it's a really great way for you to do some inner work and to figure out what your subconscious is like trying to tell you, what are you really not focusing on or facing. This chase card is such a prominent dream nightmare that we all experience at some form or the other, just like the nakedness one. Like all of these things, we all experience it, but how and why? Everything's a little bit different. So back to the flying and the falling, this symbol card, what do you need to be free of? And then are you ready to take risks and fly solo? And what do you need to feel empowered? Are the questions for that dream. And then the cards that I got, the one for flying, I got freedom.
Oh, nice.
That is so on point. Oh, and you have a horse in yours, and they're both white. Oh my gosh. So free yourself from limiting beliefs and attitudes. Be an advocate of freedom so others can be free to pursue their dreams, and unshackle the chains that bind you from being the person you want to be. Because when you're flying, you feel that freedom. You feel like I can go anywhere I want to go. I can be anybody who I want to be. I'm feeling like literally weightless. You don't feel the weight of burdens. You don't feel the weight of responsibilities because you are buoyant. You are up in the air. But at the same time, oh my gosh, the two women in the photo,
wow.
same pose. Same with your falling. That's a very freeing feeling too sometimes, because the way in which you are falling, is it like a scary free fall, or is it just like you're falling and you're just letting it happen? That's a difference too in your dream. So for the falling, I got journey. I know it's really hard to see with the gloss, but it says, do things in a different way, take a new route, believe your life is only part of one long journey, and be prepared for an adventure. So to your point with the new beginnings, this is being prepared for a new beginning, being prepared for a new part of your life to start again, surrendering to that, knowing that better things are on their way, knowing that you can take your life in a different way if you're not wanting the results aren't what you want right now. You can try to change it in a way that makes sense for you. Again, easier said than done, but they're very, very similar card themes for a very similar card archetype. So that's really cool.
taking that leap of faith. When you leap, you are going to fall at least a little bit until the
Yeah.
divine catches you and carries you forward. I'm reminded of one of the opening scenes of Pocahontas by Disney,
Oh yeah.
where she's just gonna walk and go the long forest way to her friend, but then she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump. I'm just gonna dive into the water that's like hundreds of feet below me.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? Like, that's how I want to live. I want
Mhm.
to live arms wide open. You know, I want to ask my guides for dreams and visions that help me along my path, even if they may be a little bit scary at first, you know, and I want to analyze them. I want to write in my dream journal, and I want to consult cards and other forms of divination like astrology and
Mhm.
numerology and the pendulum and things like that, because ultimately when we are experiencing this non-dual essence of the flow of yin and yang and the flow of nature and the heavens, then we're actually more likely to feel emboldened to pursue our mission on this planet.
Yeah, exactly. And then how we were talking about, I think in the last video, or it could have been one of our conversations that we have. But when we do the inner work, so, if we're looking at our dreams as part of healing or part of things that, we need to maybe focus on or look at in our waking life, um, collectively, we all get a little bit more higher of, I'm going to say it, it sounds cheesy, but a higher vibration as a collective. Once everyone starts doing the healing process themselves, it reflects outward. So, those people who they're always in a bad mood, they always, are, uh, argumentative and nothing, even if something really good happens to them, they're never satisfied. They're just like, why me? This always happens to me, yada, yada, yada. If they did some inner work and understand that, there needs to be some healing going on with whatever they've got going on internally, that was repetitive, but uh, once they do that, it reflects outward. People will start being like, oh, wow, like you're in a better mood. Like, what have you been doing? It happens when people do yoga, when they start taking better care of their health. It raises the, vibrations of the
Mhm.
collective because they're not putting that awful negativity out there. Obviously, this goes to the topic of toxic positivity, right? Where we don't want to be. We want to understand that we can have good and bad days. We want to understand the duality of being a human.
Mhm.
However, when we're in this perpetual state of negative energy, it's not always everybody else's fault, right? Sometimes we have to take responsibility as to why we are feeling certain ways, why we can't seem to be in a good mood, fill in the blank. Then it's going to get into like, the psychiatry of it all. And that's not what I'm here to do. But what I'm saying is, as a collective, the more work we do internally, the more that we focus on healing, the more we can recognize the healing in others, the more we can put good out into the world. I'm not advocating for toxic positivity, not 1%. But what I am advocating for is understanding and empathy. So
Mhm.
if we can be empathetic and compassionate to ourselves, imagine how we can be to other people. And sometimes doing that inner work is the key to unlock that. And that's all I'm trying to say. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that was not, putting down any sort of aspect, but yeah, we don't want toxic positivity. We understand bad things happen. We understand that not everybody can be in a good mood. But when you're consistently having these scary dreams or nightmares or being chased or, scary, scary demons and that sort of thing in your dream, this is the video that we're trying to help you understand that it's not necessarily predicting things that are happening, or that is not something that, you're a negative being. It's just that maybe there's something that you need to work on internally, and your subconscious and your unconscious is telling you, hey, look at me, like pay attention, focus, like let's try to figure out what's going on. And I'm always going to advocate for, if your mental health is struggling, if your emotions are struggling, or if you are having any sort of physical ailment, please seek medical help, because not everything is esoteric or metaphysical. There's a lot of things that manifest in a metaphysical way, but it's so you can pay attention to the physical and get physical help. Like, I am in no way saying that you should only do the woo woo. Hopefully that makes sense. But
There's
yeah.
definitely a balance. Yeah, going back to the Temperance card, if we're, looking at, say, something holistic versus something more like allopathic, where it's just like, oh, you have an owie, put a band-aid on it, versus like the holistic, more looking at like the whole being, the whole person. When you balance those out, like, I mean, I meditate and I take pills, like,
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like, please, if you are seeing any sort of rhetoric online, social media, that are saying you cannot be spiritual and take medication, get off of that. Do not follow. There's no way, shape, or form that is correct. Please, if those things are helping you and that's what you need in order to feel your best self, please do not think that in order to be spiritual, you cannot have X, Y, and Z, or do X, Y, and Z. It is not about that at all. So absolutely, it is about balance. All that the therapy part of it too. Dream recall in therapy is a thing. So yeah, it's very therapeutic for yourself to do the dream work with your therapist. Like, they will ask you, okay, so you keep having this reoccurring dream, what do you think this means? And then that's a jumping off point for your therapist to work with and do some shadow work, do some healing. So this is not just a metaphysical thing. This is something that is very much ingrained in Western medicine, in the therapeutic realm as well. So again, there are people who are doctors, who are scientists that study dreams, that are trying to figure out where it all began, where it all came from, and how to implement it into your day to day. That people who thousands of years ago saw the dreams as a way of knowledge and a way of healing. So this is now, again, we were talking about the last video, science is just confirming what people have known for years. And who's to say that in another 50, couple hundred years, we might not have the answers as to what consciousness is and what the dreams are for. So all that to say, dreams are a fascinating subject. Dreams are something that many people have been trying to figure out and decode. Do they predict the future? I don't think so. However, they can predict certain outcomes with what you're experiencing at the time. They can provide you symbols, just like tarot does, just like oracle does, any other form of divination. And I think that a lot of the times we do remember specific dreams for a reason. There's a reason why you woke up and that dream stuck with you throughout the day. There's something in that dream that maybe you need to look at. I know a lot of us, we have issues recalling dreams, but those dreams that stick out, man, those are the ones that are like, oh, you got to look into it. You got to figure out what they mean. And then again, if you're having the reoccurring dreams, that's something that maybe you need to look at as well. Something that's unfinished, something that you haven't quite figured out in your waking life. So with that, is there anything else that you would like to add, Ellen? Anything that we haven't touched on that you would like to include?
Yes, so beautiful, Natasha. Thank you so much again. And I do want to say I have a friend who actually had a dream about the name of the woman with whom my ex-husband and husband was having an emotional affair.
Ooh,
And she knew the name, and then I don't want to I'm not talking about
yeah.
like too private stuff, but I have to say this. She actually knew the girl's name in her dream and told me, and I said, oh my gosh, this just happened to me. And this is the same name as the girl, you know, and it was just crazy. And that same friend had a dream and was thinking about this woman she met at the racetrack when she went with her friends. And it turns out the night that my friend was having that dream and needing to pray about her, that woman was launched through a windshield and passed away in a car accident. So it's possible that dreams can, like, I'm not discounting what you're saying, of course. I just want you to, like,
No. Yeah.
we don't want to expect that a dream paints an outcome or predicts the future, but
Right.
sometimes there's a sensitivity that is
That
opened
is,
up.
that's a great caveat, because yeah, that's what I was trying to say, was like, it's not so, like, for instance, your abduction dream,
Yeah.
that's not predicting you being abducted.
Right,
That's what I was trying
exactly.
to say. But absolutely, it will give you insight, consciousness, right? We're in a higher, like, state of consciousness. So there is a potential to have a connection, a higher connection to what's around you. I know that does not make sense when I'm wording it, but so it's possible that you can receive messages or downloads of
Yes.
what you could expect, or what is going on around you in while you're dreaming. Yes. I can't word it
Absolutely.
correctly,
You're
but
doing great. Like, I feel like when we receive messages in our dreams, those can be seeds that are planted that in waking life we can answer a call.
yeah,
So, like, I mentioned earlier how we can have dreams on, like, significant dates. A few years ago on August 8th, which is Lionsgate, that Lionsgate portal, I had a dream about, like, ascended beings, ascended masters forming the galactic council and the stars, like star seed people and like the light workers. And like it was a very ethereal type of dream that maybe I could implement in my daily life, whereas I could actually be reminded to call upon my guides and angels during the day to answer, to give me signs and clues that answer, that respond directly to the dream itself. And
right,
that when my consciousness is expanded at night as I'm dreaming, and this is a trick too, if you tend to forget your dreams, not only voice record, not only write them down in a journal, but make associations, right? So in a dream, if you remember, oh, there was a fox in my dream, write down, like, just have an image in your mind of the movie The Fox and the Hound or something, connect it to something else. That's how I remember a lot of people's names, is that when they tell me their name, I'll associate it with something.
right,
You
right,
know, oh, like, oh, her name's Elizabeth, that reminds me of the Queen in England, and then boom, I remember. So
right,
dreams are like little seedling packets to be expanded and expounded upon in waking life, so that when we get a card like this, the empty room, let's just say that's in our dream. So is the mirror. These are the archetypes cards, Wild Unknown by Kim Krantz. If we see a mirror in an empty room, maybe that means that we need to do more self-care and self-love practices. Maybe we need to spend more time alone with ourselves.
yeah,
And maybe that's a sign that when we look in the mirror, we should do something like what Mel Robbins, the speaker, what she talks about is high-fiving ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, you did a great job today. And you're by yourself and you're congratulating and you're in gratitude for what you've been accomplishing. And if you have a dream about a mirror in an empty room, that could actually mean that you need to spend more time reflecting with the mirror on yourself in the empty room. Does that make
right,
sense?
100%. Well, Ellen, thank you so much for your insight. I love these discussions. I feel
Yeah.
like we could talk for hours about things, but let's break it down into different videos.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I will have all of Ellen's links down in the description box below, so that way you can go visit her, go show her some love, go utilize her as a source. I appreciate her being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I love you and I like you. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on your way out of this video. That way you will never miss an upload from me. Also, what are your most common dreams? What are the dreams that you dream about the most? What are the, most interesting dreams? If you want to share them, share it in the comment section below. Maybe everybody else can give you some insight and comment on your dreams. That would be an awesome discussion down in the comments. I would love that. Ellen would love it. We'll be in the comments replying. And as always, if you guys want us to have more discussions on different things involving the metaphysical, witchy stuff, tarot, divination, give us suggestions down below and we can have a freeform discussion like this and we can pull some cards. I think it would be fun. So with all of that being said, thank you so much. Thank you, Ellen. And until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.